This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News, see how the MSUM Theater Department is portraying the past.
Find out how this NDSU professor is turning trash into treasure.
We'll show you how sibling rivalry doesn't mean anything to these MSUM basketball players.
And see how an NDSU student is speaking out against police brutality. Good morning and welcome to Campus News. I'm Halie Espeseth.
And I'm Alex Larson. With the 2020 election fast approaching, many college students are beginning to make decisions about which candidates to support.
One of the hot topics amongst young voters is free college and student debt forgiveness. I talked with MSUM students to hear their opinions about this hot topic. Students like MSUM senior Matt Worthington are wondering how the issue of free college and student debt forgiveness might be handled by presidential hopefuls.
I think that if you're going to demand people have a degree upon entering the job field, there should be a free alternative.
According to Forbes, student loan debt is the highest it's ever been, reaching $1.5 trillion in 2019. Because of that large number, many students find the idea of free college appealing.
How do you get to the free college bit? That would be awesome if I could just, apply and then go and then do my studies and not have to worry about all the financial aid or anything like that. It's just, I'm worried about where the money is going to be coming from.
So when we went on there.
On top of wondering how free college will become a reality, students are also questioning if presidential candidates will fulfill their promises.
The actual honesty behind that, how genuine that might be, is debatable.
Though the concept is favorable among students, some feel there might be a better alternative option than making higher education completely free.
Make financial aid more accessible to people with middle class students and stuff like that.
While Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders have made it a priority in their campaigns, other candidates also have plans to make college more affordable. With photographer Kylie Chapman, Halie Espeseth, Campus News. MSUM's Office of Scholarship and Financial Aid is available to assist students in finding and applying for financial support.
Students have launched the Green Bandana Project at NDSU that helps promote a visual support for anyone that struggles with anxiety or depression. Halie Van Vleet and others were inspired by another college that has the program. The bandanas are tied around students' backpacks after they pledge to be a safe individual for other students. The green bandana signifies quiet solidarity.
Seeing the green bandanas across campus has been awesome, and seeing the ideas that students have too is just amazing.
The project has more training sessions held on campus coming up March 11th and the 30th. Minot State University's Addiction Studies program is getting national recognition. The Bachelor of Science program is ranked 16th in the country. MSU is the only school in North Dakota to offer this program. It is a 4-year degree with a 9-month practicum that allows students to be eligible to become a licensed addiction counselor. Students in the program study dynamics of addiction, advanced counseling, and professional relations and ethics.
Many higher education officials are worried the coronavirus could affect their bottom lines. Chinese students make up the largest percentage of international students in U.S. colleges and universities. Before the outbreak, many American universities heavily recruited Chinese students. Some colleges have canceled study abroad programs, and other Chinese students can't return to the U.S. because of travel restrictions. U.S. embassies and consulates are not processing visas. Some officials say this is a shining light on American dependency on the Chinese for financial sustainability. The Black Student Association and Somali Student Association at NDSU hosted an open mic night. Out of all the singing and dancing, one performance stood out the most. Nancy Wamboy tells us more.
Thou shalt not walk through a gated community on a Sunday wearing a hoodie, or thou will be shot one time in the chest.
Event organizer and NDSU grad student Fred Edwards performed a spoken word piece about the slayings of unarmed men.
Suffer 2 bullets in your heart and 3 across your body in front of your family.
Edwards says he was inspired to do the piece to engage in topics that many may find uncomfortable.
Through not knowing the things that have happened in the past, we can sometimes ignore them. And even worse, we don't want to talk about them.
A co-performer reveals the face behind each name, reminding us, with each face was a life. Audience member Kaitlyn Stenberg says the performance opened her eyes to having more empathy.
Was really powerful because it just makes you realize that there's a lot of things happening in each individual's lives that you have no idea about.
Edwards ends his piece by asking audience members to join him in a moment of silence, which even touches BSA leadership like President Kiara Jackson.
I think my favorite part about tonight was when everybody was able to take a moment of silence and, you know, respect those that have been harmed and, you know, killed. But when it comes down to it, we're all able to bring that respect. We became a very cohesive group. The dynamic was just, it was amazing.
There were about 100 people who attended, and like those who were honored, this open mic was memorable. With photographer Nora Vitale, Nancy Wamboy, Campus News.
NDSU's Black Student Association holds events throughout the year. BSA is open to all students and has members of diverse backgrounds. This year's Veterans Creative Arts Festival in Illinois is bringing more than 100 military veterans together to show off artistic and literary talents. College of Lake County's Grays Lake campus is inviting the public to watch dances, musicals, dramas, and more. Veterans perform live on stage, having the opportunity to perform in a national competition later on in the year. The college's veteran student coordinator says the event has tripled in size over the last 5 years. The event takes place Thursday, March 5th.
An opioid drug screening program developed at NDSU has hints of soon going national. The program, called 1RX, is meant to give pharmacists ways to show the risk of addiction in patients being prescribed opioid medication. Mark Strand, the developer of 1RX, talks us through its process.
We thought by stratifying patients based on their risk, we could then provide the correct message for the correct patients, and then likewise, patients who had low risk or minimal risk, they would be given a simpler, just a generalized safe medication use messaging, so it would be more efficient and more targeted.
Strand says that the program has a high possibility of being adopted by other pharmacists and schools across the nation. A Virginia college is making great strides in the battle against cancer and is getting high praise from Vice President Mike Pence. Pence visited Hampton University's Proton Therapy Institute, where researchers work with cancer patients to save lives. The vice president called the institute an incredible asset to the American people. The purpose of the visit is to show the progress the institute is making, so they can secure funding for the institute to expand the program and further their research. An Augustana graduate is making an impact on a national scale. 2020 alumna Emily Novotny received an internship at the White House. Novotny was able to gain this experience through the Lutheran College Washington semester program offered by the university. In the program's 7 years, she is the second student to get an internship. As an intern in the White House, she worked with the Office of Presidential Personnel, helping to staff presidential appointee positions. Novotny is now working full-time on the Trump and Pence re-election campaign. Have you filed your taxes?
If not, you might want to check out how some students are making good use of their coursework knowledge to help out not only the community, but also themselves. Reporter Geneva Nodland went to Concordia to find out more.
As a student, you can only hope that one day you'll be able to use the skills that you've learned in your classes. And for these Concordia students, they're doing just that.
So what we do is we take the information that they give us on their interview sheet that they fill out and all the tax information they have, W-2s and whatnot, and do their tax returns for them with no cost.
After they became IRS certified through the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, or VITA, these students are now able to utilize what they've learned.
So we get to do it on the side as well as learn it in the class, so it's kind of like a hands-on experience with that.
Although the students are volunteering for a class, they're still enjoying the tax prep experience. The tax services are not only benefiting the community, but also the students in several different ways, including their graduation exam.
And so when you're doing this, it really gives you a good perspective on how hard you're going to need to study for that part of the exam.
For these accounting students, they have been able to identify what they enjoy or what they don't about tax preparation.
So I have learned that I like audit and not tax, first of all. So I know what direction I'll be going in.
But no matter their feelings about the work, they still recognize the skills they're gaining from it.
As much as I know what direction I don't want to go in, I also know in order to get there what I need to work on.
The students and professors see this annual opportunity as a way to support their learning and the public. From Concordia's Grant Center with photographer Ben Podratz, Geneva Nodland, Campus News.
These tax services began at the start of February, and in case you still need to prepare yours, they will be offered through March 12th. A Minot State art professor has transformed the school's literature collection in hopes of inspiring future students. While helping a student of color, Associate Professor Ryan Stander realized the literature in his department only reflected white photographers. For the past 3 years, Stander has worked to diversify literature that his department offers. Stander says he became aware of how narrow his education had been. Now Minot State's collection offers art from women, Black, and Native American photographers. Students at MSUM stepped onto the dance floor and into the world of magic. A Yule Ball inspired by the Harry Potter series was held at MSUM. Students danced to some hits and played games based on the series. Harry Potter fans felt the tone of the dance really brought the night together.
It's just been really fun, and they have all the lights down low. It's just really fun atmosphere, I gotta say.
Throughout the games, photos, and dancing, students got a new appreciation for the world of Harry Potter. Free art, snacks, and succulents drew many students out of their dorms for an evening. The Dragon Entertainment Group hosts a painting and plant night in the CMU ballroom at MSUM. The canvas and succulent planting event was finally underway after being postponed due to campus closures. Students picked, potted, and planted their succulent or cacti of choice. Others picked out paint and started to create canvases. Many chose to paint with Bob Ross as he played in the background. Students showed their creative side as they painted and planted their works of art to take home. The next event for Dragon Entertainment Group is International Grocery Bag Bingo next Wednesday at 7:30 in the CMU ballroom. In Dove Hall at NDSU, the Mechanical Engineering Department is conducting research unlike anything you've seen before.
And one researcher stands out among the rest and was named NDSU's Researcher of the Month. Reporter Eric Jorg speaks with the Researcher of the Month and takes us into his laboratory.
Hockey sticks, snowboards, and golf clubs. These are just some of the things that NDSU Professor Chad Ulvin is making out of some pretty unique materials.
The emphasis behind a lot of my research is to become more efficient with the materials that we have, to create less pollution, to be more mindful of what happens to the products that we make after their useful life is over.
Ulvin has a unique idea about how to improve the way products are made and what they are made of.
A coffee mug made of coffee, for instance. So we took and the residuals from roasting coffee beans, we compounded that into a plastic, and then we're able to manufacture a coffee mug.
The mechanical engineer has received NDSU's Researcher of the Month award.
What it means for me is just confirmation that I'm appreciated as a faculty member here at NDSU at what I'm trying to do with my research, with the students that work for me, for the students that I interact with in the classroom. I try and bring it all focused around my research, and to be recognized for that is very special.
Ulvin is glad to be recognized, but what matters more to him is what he hopes to accomplish with his research.
A lot of the different things that we're working on right now that are hopefully going to have a positive impact on society and the environment in the future.
With photographer Alex Larson, Eric George, Campus News.
The Researcher of the Month award is selected by the Office of the Vice President for Research, who chooses one of many worthy research candidates from NDSU's campus. Colleges across the country are on the presidential campaign trail, and Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren got some help in her campaign from her furry friend. The Massachusetts Senator's golden retriever Bailey made a visit to Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. The college organized the event with students and the senator's campaign team. It included students, visitors, and staff who took lots of pictures and did lots of petting. The students are planning to get support to canvass for the senator's campaign before Super Tuesday. Minot State University hosted an American Ninja Warrior who motivates and inspires as he rises above life's challenges. Kyle Schultz calls himself the Deaf Ninja and was a contestant 3 times on American Ninja Warrior in seasons 9 and 10. He even qualified for nationals. The Chicago native spoke at 2 events on campus. One of them was a private event for kids and adults who are deaf or have hearing difficulties. The second was open to the public. Schultz showed off some of his ninja skills when he demonstrated his training activities. He encouraged the audience to chase their dreams like he has. An NDSU class is giving students a new perspective on the animal kingdom.
The Anthrozoology class examines the relationship between humans and animals. Reporter Marissa Shyok takes us into the classroom to learn more.
Students at NDSU have a new option for one of their general education requirements.
So this is an area where we potentially...
The Introduction to Anthrozoology class was offered for the first time in the spring of 2019, and students have responded well.
Now in its second year of being taught, we are seeing a much broader group of students from across campus.
Although students pursuing many different types of degrees take the course, Dr. Christenson says that the animal science majors are more than well represented. One of those animal science majors is Gus Peterson, who says that his experience growing up on a farm is something that he wants to share with his classmates, in hopes to offer them a new perspective.
The point of this class isn't really to change your opinions, but maybe that'll happen, and that's something I kind of like.
So nature versus nurture, that's an interesting point.
Being a pet owner herself, veterinary science major Twyla Gross is excited about the insight that this class will bring to her future practice.
So to see and hear personal stories of the reasons why we have our different perspectives is really interesting to me, and it's something I wouldn't have got not being in this class.
This class uses discussion to engage students in the material.
Let's transition into our discussion prompts.
So while personal experience certainly affect our own mindset and opinions, I try to point out that there is typically not a black and a white.
Dr. Christenson encourages student discussion in the hopes that students will examine their personal beliefs and biases both in and out of the classroom. With photographer Phil Melrow, Marissa Shyok, Campus News.
The Introduction to the Anthrozoology course at NDSU is open to all students and counts as a behavioral and social science general education requirement. And now we turn it over to Jordan Austin for a look at this week's sports.
What do you have for us this week, Jordan?
We got a couple of record breakers on our hand. An NDSU sprinter is already breaking school records in his first year on the team. Damian O'Donnell takes us there to learn more about what pushes this young runner in his sprint for success.
Adrian Harris is far from home. He grew up in St. Petersburg, Florida, and was a highly recruited track star coming out of high school. While considering where to go to college, his mother ran into some trouble while visiting North Dakota, and Adrian knew just the number to call.
So I immediately just picked up the phone and called Coach Keller, and like that, he split second helped her out, and that just meant a lot for me. It showed that he cares about me more than just me being an athlete. Like, he showed that family side, and that just meant a lot to me. That put North Dakota State over any school. That was like the seal right there. So
Adrian came in highly recruited, but still had to prove himself on the college level. That did not take him very long. He broke NDSU's 300-meter record with a blazing time just over 34 seconds, shattering a record that stood for over 15 years. Adrian is doing what he can to keep his head down and continue to work.
Of course, I'll say it does mean a lot, but I try not to think about it. I still have a lot of season left, and I don't want, that just breaking goals to be my main thing.
Coach Clayton Pritchard, however, knew right from the beginning that Harris would be in position to do great things.
We told him right away, hey, your name's going to be on that board at year one, and it just happened that it happened right away.
Adrian Harris is well on his way to making a lasting impact on NDSU's track legacy. With photographer Dominique Trowbridge, I'm Damian O'Donnell. Campus News, Sports.
Adrian Harris and the rest of the NDSU track and field team look to improve on what they've already accomplished ahead of the Summit League Championships in May. An MSUM student athlete shattered a 43-year-old record for Dragon track and field. Sophomore Chiron Kemp's winning triple jump of 49 feet 9 1/4 inches broke Cal Baker's 1977 record of 48 feet 9 inches. Kemp is named the NSIC Field Athlete of the Week after his performance at the South Dakota State Indoor Classic. The record-breaking jump is the 5th best in the nation. A University of North Dakota hockey player is hoping to bring a national championship to Grand Forks, along with the most prestigious award in the sport. UND captain Jordan Kawaguchi is leading the Fighting Hawks in goals and assists for the 2nd straight year, and he's not stopping there. He's the front-runner for the Hobie Baker Award, which is given to the best college hockey player at the end of the season. Jordan Kawaguchi is hoping to be the first player from UND to win this award since Ryan Duncan in 2007. Kawaguchi and the Fighting Hawks look to win their final 3 games of the regular season, starting with a battle against Western Michigan tonight. Johnny Beninga is in his senior season at MSUM, but he has plans on passing the basketball off to someone special. Reporter Nick Napper takes us to the court to see who that is.
MSUM basketball player Johnny Beninga is closing in on his final games as a Dragon. But with his large family, he won't be the last Beninga to play here.
It's more fun that he's here. He's redshirting this year, so unfortunately he's not playing, but it's really cool to see him grow and get better as the year goes on.
The MSUM basketball team not only has one Beninga, but 2 Beningas. His brother Jacob is a redshirt freshman. These brothers know how to make each other more competitive, but what matters most to them is being able to see each other.
I wouldn't say there's a sibling rivalry. Like, that's not really me and Johnny. We go at it definitely, but it's all love at the end of the day.
My favorite part is just being able to see him more. I mean, when I'm up here at school, I don't get to see my family as much, so just getting to see him every day and see him at practice, I mean, it's good to see him.
Though these 2 are brothers, head coach Chad Waltho says they have 2 different styles of play.
Johnny's more of a straight line driver, north and south, and Jacob is probably more east-west, a little more stop-start type of player. But they're both very tenacious defensively.
The only battle between these 2 is who is the better player.
Me, like, I'm gonna say me.
I mean, I'm gonna take myself, but he's a pretty darn good player.
These 2 are part of the Dragon family forever, but they are also part of their own family, full of love and care. With photographer Jacob Tenson, I'm Nick Napper, Campus News Sports.
Johnny Beninga is one of 37 MSUM players to eclipse 1,000 points and is in the top 10 in career assists, leaving his brother with some big shoes to fill. And guys, wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, definitely a special memory for the 2 brothers. Thanks, Jordan.
An old play at MSUM is pushing acting students beyond their comfort zone.
Reporter Katie Betts has more on how the students are bringing this emotional play to life.
The sounds of wailing and weeping fill MSUM's Gaiety stage as actors and actresses warm up for their most recent production, Women of Troy. The play follows the story of these women as they are captured by the Greek army.
Yeah, so my character cries a lot. She comes on stage just after being sexually assaulted, and so she is kind of explaining the horrors that she just went through with these women who are also going through the same exact horrors.
Why should we waste breath?
I play Helen of Troy, which she's kind of interesting because she's one of the reasons, well, the main reason why Troy fell, because she is very power hungry and wants the best of the best.
Took me by force, made me be his wife.
McLean said it was a challenge to get into character because of how manipulative her character is. She and the other players use atmosphere to help them understand the setting their character is in, and imaginary body to help them get into character for the performance.
Could ever boast of bearing.
So I'm like, I'm not being myself, I am being this character, and just because I'm this character doesn't mean that I do all these things.
Take her away.
Women of Troy is a Greek tragedy, and with this kind of play comes some unique challenges, including learning how to scream properly.
Oh, Zeus! I
A complex play such as this allowed MSUM theater majors to gain more experience as they study a wide range of theater. With photographer Ayanna Taylor, Katie Betts, Campus News.
The final performance is tonight at 7:30 in the Gady stage at MSUM. And that's it for this edition of Campus News.
We leave you with another look at the women of Troy.
Thanks for joining us and have a great week.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the School of Communication and Journalism at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.